Jack, I don't know who you are, but I don't want a safe blind. That's some like, no. No, come over here and say that. I want extremes in top. That's what we got. Gwen to me, Aurora to me, maybe like on the safer side of extremes, but we want skill matchups. We want blood. And I tell you what, so far from Fnatic and MKOI, this has been one hell of a start of a series. Let's ramp it up a little bit as we get into pick ban for game 3. Naught Talia already taken away. I see a Lucian gone as the rise of Lucian Nami. Lucian Braum has started rising in the east again. But what have we got left?
Yeah, but that's the point, right? As you start to teeter into game 3, this is where the drafts start to get a little bit funky because you still will get your usual suspects when it comes towards the bans, but so many of these picks have now been taken off the board. So I am curious what the priority is for some of these sides. I'm looking at probably a jungle here to come through for Fnatic. But so the other thing you got to be careful of is because you end up, you know already that Myrwn is kind of touting the fact that he has this Rek'Sai. That can definitely change a lot of those topside matchups. So now that Fnatic can move to the blue side, a lot of those like safe tankier top laners that you would have liked to go for may not have the best of times against this Rek'Sai.
Yeah, right, and I love that, again, that's in the conversation. Ezreal's the first pick here, though. AD carry's getting quite short, and in fact, we've done Kaisa, we've done Xayah already as well. Might go to some of the more hyper carries. There's Jojo back on his Ryze. Okay. Feel very confident with that. I feel like his spacing's been quite nice. We have some decent Ryzes here in the LEC.
I think the early Ezreal pick kind of takes away from a lot of those junglers that could work quite well with the Ryze, like Trundle a little bit less valuable because the pillar doesn't really work as well with the Ezreal. Same when you look towards like a Jarvan, which I think has risen up in a priority in a lot of regions. So I think the early Ezreal pick kind of making things difficult here, but looks like it's going to be Aphelios. So they're just going to lock in on the opposite side. I think though for Razork, like I'd honestly look at a Jarvan here for Razork and just set yourselves up for a strong team fight.
I agree as well. Against Ryze, against Aphelios, that's a Jarvan angle. You don't have the Orianna pairing for it, but even though Talia's not there, surely you can come up with something else.
Annie would still be good.
Annie is a good call out, actually. That facilitates some of your AP as well, and then you have options for top.
Yeah, and I think for Poby, Annie has been a great pick for him. I think he's looked spectacular on it, and I think it's kind of been a rally cry for Fnatic in some of their games to try and use this Annie as their main engage tool.
So does the Jarvan go with it straight away? Because again, if you take Jarvan, it's not like that MKOI we're going to take it anyway, but you're probably going to get it banned away if you don't, because it feels like the most reasonable jungler here for Razork to abuse.
The only other thing I'd consider is, do you just go for the Trundle and say, hey, you can't go for Sejuani or MKOI, and then you've already got issues on the opposite side. Poppy. Okay, I'm surprised that, to be honest, because I thought we'd see Poppy when there's a few more dashes in the game, like you see a Jarvan on the opposite side or something along these lines to try and limit it, but just it looks like trying to limit the frontline options for MKOI because they're about to get hammered away.
Let's see what this 3 is. It's not that, okay, guys? It'll never be that. Thresh is an interesting pairing. I mean, it is the pairing, isn't it?
Or even Lulu, to be honest. Like, the Thresh into things like the Ezreal can make it a little bit difficult.
It can indeed.
I think oh, never mind. Okay, it's going to be Nocturne.
Okay, so Nocturne gets locked in with the Ryze. Not the most common, but the Orianna's usually there. However, again, I keep mentioning the Orianna for good reason. Nocturne versus the Poppy will be fun. Okay, interface broken.
Yeah, we'll be back in just half a second, but yeah, I think the
we fixed.
The Bessa, I think, was the last bomb that came through there, but I'm curious to see exactly basically what the game plan is, because again, I think you've got options here for Myrwn. He looks way more comfortable getting the counter pick against Oscarinin, which I think leads to some scary moments, let's say, for Fnatic on the blue side here. There's the Thresh ban. I think you kind of need to go for something like the Lulu, though, because with the Ezreal, Aphelios is kind of fine to just farm it up, and Aphelios Lulu very strong, alongside if Myrwn can actually just respond with a tank answer in this R5.
And the ability to wild growth Nocturne as well is also a really good combo. Like, Lulu works on multiple levels in this comp. I'm glad you pulled it out. Quick side note, the Ambessa ban might mean that MKOI are going to start fishing for, something like a Sion, which we haven't seen yet, surprisingly. Let's see, Lulu ban or not? Because it could be a Lulu on 4 and then get a counter pick, but instead Sion ban comes through. So that Lulu available, that Enchanter is there if MKOI are game.
I imagine it's Oscarinin looking at something like a Cassante then in the top end.
Yeah.
And then the flexibility to see if you want to move the Poppy to Mickey in that bottom lane or put him in towards the jungle. Because I still think you can have that opportunity to flex him here. And then Razork can go back towards things like the Jarvan, the Trundle, these sorts of pairings, depending on what he feels like against the Nocturne here.
Support option. Is it going to be the Braum? Yes. Okay, so no Enchanter here. Braum stymied a little by the Poppy, but regardless, the skirmishing power is kind of nice here as MKOI add a defender to the Aphelios Ryze.
It feels like the Nocturne is odd to me here. Like the Nocturne doesn't really have any much follow-up, but sure it's to turn off the lights and maybe try and prevent an engage, but it's not like you're kind of playing a very spread out fight for Fnatic, so I'm a little curious. There's the Cassante we're talking about for Oscarinin though.
But against Poppy, against Cassante, like the target's going to be an Ezreal or an Annie at this point. You can CC in response. There's a Jarvan we talked about for so far a reasonably immobile carry comp outside of the supporting elements. So Fnatic right now are probably happy with what they've got. Yeah,
I prefer Fnatic's draft. I think you've got, you know, decent scaling. You've got really strong team fights. The Poppy as well, able to, like, whenever Nocturne goes in, Poppy just looks to ult away some of the rest of MKOI, and you can deal with the Nocturne in the backline. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of backline threat alongside this Nocturne. Yeah, so...
Okay, we lock it in.
Yeah, it feels like... I think MKOI have some decent matchups for themselves, but I think as the game starts to go on, I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult for them to try and fight out. Like J4, great lockdown for 2 carries that are relatively immobile. You're also then got the Annie to try and follow up, Poppy to reposition in fights, and the Nocturne I don't really see getting massive value apart from if J4 goes for a long range engage, try to turn off the lights and cause a bit of discoordination on Fnatic side.
And isolate your targets and hope that Aphelios and Ryze aren't dead in the wayside as well. Interesting. I mean, I feel like this game 3, this draft is a different kind of pace, right? Last game we had dive v dive. We had response to dive into dive. It was interesting. It was fun. It was explosive. Here, the Yorick comes out as a last resort, running into Cassante. I feel like MKOI are just kind of banking and hoping that their lanes go well so they can actually skirmish and play off the early game.
Yeah, and I think that's where they're hoping they can go 1-3-1. Bless. Thank you. We appreciate you. But yeah, I think the 1-3-1 is really where MKOI are going to try and shine here. And hope that they can use Elyoya to bolster them in the same way we saw with the Pantheon. But it does rely on Myrwn really popping off on this Yorick and Jojo getting some nice early control.
Well, this is what we're left with for game 3. Let's run into the Rift. At least 2 more, yeah? That would be nice. Let's go the distance. We don't want any of this 3-1 nonsense. Take us the distance. Now, I see the word diversion in all chat. That's about it.
Spanish and
I can't read Spanish.
No.
And, you know, that's a problem. I saw the word sí.
Yeah.
So they did say yes, and then I saw diversion. That's what you get from all chat. However, I can't really vent it because, again, I'm not fluent, nor do I know any words. I saw good luck from Oscarinin. That's English. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat it.
I'm not going to lie. It's probably a bad idea for us to read out things we don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's GG, Aphelios so broken. But you should never look at comps in isolation, Mr. Pornrex. MKOI draft kind of pog. You reckon? Fish sticker? Do you really think so? Let's find out. Let's find out. Again, I think we already talked about it. Really relies on, you know, like this Nocturne, what target he finds. Bit of scaling for Supa and Jojo, of course. And you talked about it. 1-3-1 is really nice. You have a Ryze, you have a Yorick. But I think setting up for this game is going to be difficult if they don't come out of lane with a decent advantage. Starting early is good. Nocturne invade from Elyoya. He's busy with the Raptors.
He should be able to get this as well, so cheeky little invade and kind of just saying, hey, I understand what Razor's pathing going to be. Red to Krugs, then into Raptors, so nice little steal away here from Elyoya. Gets to level 2, and there's not really much of a response from Razork, as the Nocturne will just have a better clear and better dueling potential in the early stages.
And look at the wards that are set up for response if Razork tries to try something on the top side of the map. He's defensive ward, or rather aggressive in his own blue buff, and then one that'll see the crossing into Raptors as well. So MKOI really done their due diligence here to make sure that Razork kind of stays behind in this early game.
Yeah, so both junglers now aware of what's happening. So you can see Razork pinned it out, but also then the ward will spot that Razork is moving up in towards his top side. So full information essentially on both sides as to what is going to be happening.
Razork's going to take it now. That ward has expired on blue side, but they can only imagine that he's here and probably should guess. Elyoya still on his bot side, camping his work his way up. Razork kind of quick and like the advantage of Jarvan as well with red buffers. With an attack speed steroid, as well as that passive that gives you the extra oomph on those auto attacks. Really not hard to clear in the early game here.
It's more of a question of how does Razork try and spend his time now, because you have this little window where your Scuttlecrop hasn't spawned, and there is a potential to maybe go for the top side if Myrwn doesn't crash this wave. I can't quite see exactly where the wave is, but I think you're kind of just now in no man's land, waiting until these Scuttlecrop spawn with no real access to the lanes. As you can see Elyoya moving in here to spot exactly what Razork is up to.
And while we're having a slow early game, it's time to talk turkey. And I think for Americans, it's like a month away or so. I don't really follow Thanksgiving. We did talk a lot about what happens with junglers here, what happens with like the bot lane, especially with the focus. I'm going to pause on that. Upset is holding my breath. Mickey's walking up. Razork is doing the thing, though. Mickey takes a chunk of damage with the flag and drag onto Supa. Doesn't pull his flash out, but there's a flash from Mickey! What an engage at low HP. Alvaro in a little bit of trouble, but it's Razork again, playing to his home crowd.
Supa was hoping that he could hold on to that flash, but ends up costing him in the end. Great kill from Razork, and we asked how he was going to spend that time. He got spotted by Elyoya, walking from that top side to the bottom lane, but Razork still makes it work.
These guys have been the cornerstone of some of the success. We talked heavily about top last game, and both games really, but Razork versus Elyoya, how they spent their time in the bot lane throughout this series has been important. Oscarinin getting hit by a bunch of cats. Panda Cat with the shovel down. Myrwn has flash available, doesn't pull the trigger, but Elyoya's here. Darkness.
Yeah, Oscarinin, I think you're in a little bit of trouble.
I think biscuits are broken though. What is that health bar? He's fine.
Everyone.
What? He just got like 300 HP back, flip into the tower.
That was the auto Q that I expected Myrwn to go for, and they just kill him under tower, but not willing to go for it. Maybe they were unsure of exactly if Razork had reset and was then moving top to try and cover, so they decided to pull off the play, but still, Oscarinin kind of got away with murder there.
I mean, I play this game. I play it heavily, and I play with biscuits. But it's just until you see it on the screen, you're like, wait, why did that just give 1,000 HP or whatever nuisance amount it was? Oscarinin is going to be just fine. Razork probably annoyed at that. Still a CS lead in top. There's super good trades here. Winter's Bite helps out as well, but Supa gets chunked after a good Q from Upset. And what continues to be interesting is Mickey has just taken all the upfront damage.
Both junglers kind of moving back in towards their own side. The Razork has been set behind thanks to the early plays from Elyoya when it comes towards experience, but obviously that assist on the bottom side doing wonders. Unfortunate that it went to Mickey on the play, as that could have been a very nice pickup for Upset to just set him up with tier, Cull, and then a little bit extra on top. But the real focus is going to be looking at things like Dragon and the Voidgrub in the next couple of minutes.
Upset just cleansed away, by the way. Tippers comes out. It's just a mighty chunk. Jojo's going to stand and clear the rest of the minion wave as much as he can. Running away from Tippers as he gets Realm Warp in the process. Tippers angry bear with a scarf, and in the frozen wasteland, Tippers just going to follow out Jojopyun. Meanwhile, Razork goes top and gets a bit of revenge back on the camps, while Dragon is being started, taken, and delivered by Elyoya.
You see Elyoya actually pinging that he was expecting Razork to be on towards his Raptors. Sees him in mid though, which means that Elyoya would know that his Raptors is still up and available. But Poby just getting nice control over mid. This is kind of what we see a lot with Annie, is, hey, I hit 6, I'm going to hit you with a giant teddy bear. And the idea is more, I will just auto-win the lane, and it makes it hard to go for objectives. But with the control MKOI had on bot side, they're perfectly fine to take that first Dragon.
And it's not the lengthiest cooldown, it's not the worst really in the game either. Like, and Poby will have that up soon enough too. Dragon goes down, and Grub's the only thing you'd think about Poby contributing to. That's what's coming up next. So Mickey just steps up and just takes what he can in this lane. That's still going well enough for Movistar KOI. And that is a pushing lane as well. So Supa has a bit of a CS lead if he can capture all that. The cats are out. Oscar, you can't path make a Myrwn into the wall, unfortunately. You know the most annoying Cassante change was the fact that W can't shift gears. You can't move it anymore. Like, that felt like it hurt so much. But to be fair, that champion, no one should ever complain about nerfs to him, because I think he's been
strong.
He's back in the meta again. Like, he got nerfed. That guy went to Timbuktu when he came back. Like, I have no clue how Cassante is just still relevant. By the way, lane swap. What a surprise. Oh, whoa. New game. No, it's normal. So, Grubs are up, 35 seconds. Hold on to your horse. That's what's coming up next.
I will say, though, the timing a little bit off, so Oscarinin doesn't end up picking up this fairly sizable wave that's now crashed in onto the bottom side. I mean, he's already struggling against Myrwn. This gold on the top side is going to start to balloon once more. And it's, again, Fnatic kind of putting the eggs in the upset basket, hoping that he can get a little bit of an advantage here on the movement, especially towards Voidgrubs. Yep. But Oscarinin definitely going to continue to struggle in this matchup as we go on.
Now Dagda, all in from Razork. Jojo's just a bit wide of it, and the white flag goes up, but yeah, Razork doesn't pull out the Cataclysm. So really nice from Jojo, kind of stands his ground. No flash.
The phase rush coming in handy there to just really escape away from that one, especially as we saw Mikyx running his way across the mid lane. Still though, position here on towards the Voidgrubs. I like this from Poby though, moving up into a position where he can maybe catch Elyoya here.
He's going to face check first. Poby Tibbers misses though. Oh, bit of a whiff here from the Legend Superstar as Fnatic now get one, but because of that damage not being landed, they're in trouble. The lights turn off, and there we go. Paranoia strikes deep. The stun up as well. Winter's bite. Razork doesn't get to move again. Alvaro picks up the kill. Now grabs a free taking, but a route into the wall. True shot barrage. Alvaro almost executed. Tibbers close to doing it for him. That's one grub as a realm warp gets him out of dodge. Alvaro got low, and MKOI had to go.
Fnatic kind of messing everything up there, to be honest. Poby missing this ult, Razork not getting a chance to use his, and now
he's deep. Mikyx has flash as well. There's a wall inside, but he's a bit far from it. Mystic Shot connects and upset, looking for the damage. Supa, Calibrum dodge, Alvaro comes back in. We're on nice edge, quite literally here. Upset low on mana. Mikyx doesn't get the hammer shock down. That's crucial damage as Elyoya doesn't have ulti, but he is nearby.
Alvaro doesn't have his flash, and Razork's here though.
Mikyx can flash this into a wall. Alvaro could be in trouble. Wait for the steadfast presence, but I think he's also low on mana. Jarvan flags away, and I think that's the end of the play.
So in the grand scheme of things, it's MKOI who end up getting at least the advantage off the back of pushing Fnatic out, but Fnatic end up getting the... Oh, hang on.
Yeah, this is maybe greedy. There's the wall. Alvaro stood his ground, and he pays the iron price. A good flee with the Caliber multi up from Razork. Might be a trade super though. He's going to die to a splash from Upset. Now Elyoya is here setting out his presence too. Runs back in, but Upset will take him down. MKOI wanted to be greedy, but Fnatic just saw it first.
MKOI wanted to make that work so badly, but now it's feats of war and all the kills going across the Upset. TP from Alvaro, a little bit less threatening than anyone else. Still though, Fnatic with 4-2 now, and what was a 1.3k gold lead is now completely dwindled.
It has. I mean, we've seen so many plays like this, but this one seems the messiest as Supa wanted inside of Alvaro.
Yeah, again, Alvaro trying to make that play work, but we said he had no flash. Razork, he didn't get a chance to use his ultimate in the last engagement.
Boy.
So you're able to follow through here, Upset flashing forward to finish off Supa. And then Elyoya knew his time was done, was hoping maybe he could get something back on towards Mikyx.
Upset just got 2 kills on Ezreal. As you said, the goal was dwindled from MKOI having a bit of an early game lead, which they really wanted. Into 2 grubs given over into the kills after the fact. They stuck around a little bit too long. And that lack of patience, that willingness of greed has hurt them deeply now. Onto this Ezreal, they're going to try again. Elyoya turns off the lights in a 1v2. Arcane shift, not possible, but under turret, Elyoya runs out. Oh, only just. Mikyx here. A wall now found, but this is a Poppy support. Ain't much going to happen here. Mikyx needs some help, and Jojo's on the way down. He's going to buy some time as Myrwn has no mana, but the Panda trash cats are out again. As Jojo just walks past the ward, and he'll take over the lane.
Elyoya gets what he wanted, and now, as you say, Jojo moving in, should get the plates. I don't think he'll quite have enough to finish off much more than that. But actually, maybe a play towards Poby. I was glancing at Alvaro there, was considering moving in behind Poby, but he was going to be able to push forward anyway.
Ping's going down. I think Poby's okay. He has no flash. That's why we're kind of talking about mid for the time being, because could be a bit exposed. Upset going to get the rest of this wave. He did die in the end, but that was very close to the kill going over. As into the rage cage, and all that going to be used. Oscarinin waiting. The Tovo sets up nicely, gets the slow. He's hit everything so far. Flushes onto Myrwn, and Oscar does it again. Oh damn, Oscar, your day, huh?
It's kind of going evens and odds, but Alvaro now, he's going to get caught out. Don't think there's much else that can really happen here.
Cleanse, a wall. Razork doesn't have a flag and drag. Alvaro's out for now, but there is a dragon down bot, and after the solo kill top, Fnatic, both sides of the map are burning well.
They're probably going to be able to push in mid. They've already got control on the bottom side. Dragon should go across. to Razork. And with the reset needing to come through from Alvaro, should be enough time here for Upset to get a little bit of gold and extend that gold lead for himself in the bottom lane as well.
I know while we're talking about this, we're going to get a replay at some point. I want to see that man hit everything because top players today, oh, everyone at home's eating good. Like, this is a Wagyu beef kind of night, isn't it? People sitting at home with a glass of red Dagda, you know, swirling, going, yes, top lane. The savants of League of Legends. Dragon's going to go down, and that's one apiece now. Gold just about even, but Fnatic inching ahead.
Yeah, I think this is where for MKOI it's going to be a bit messy, but...
Get out the red.
Jake, I'm going to get you let you revel at this.
Oh, look, Cage comes out. We know all out. But this does true damage now. So he hits, I think, just on the tip of the Pathmaker, and then he's flashing the topos. Yeah. I mean, we have seen so many Cassandres over the past couple of weeks just whip everything. And then Oscarinin just had his number and predicted everything as well. I don't know who you want to compliment there, but regardless, that Thornmail Cassandre, oh.
Beautiful.
What's for dessert?
Well, honestly, it's looking like a bit of crumble because the bot lane tower has now just gone down. Mid lane tower are going to be under a lot of pressure now with Supa having the red and white. Ryze are going to look to move in and try and help out here. But MKOI kind of finding a nice window there to get some pressure on the map and get a little bit of gold.
They did it with bot with the rotation of Jojo. They do it again with the AD carry move. Jojo's now on a side lane by himself. They're rushing Fnatic out of place a little bit, and Jojo's going to have to realm warp here, it seems, and he will do so. Razork can't get there in time. He fakes it. He gets the minions away because he wants more. Poby's coming in. Unfortunately, the turret plate has disappeared, but Jojo's going to stick around for the next wave. And now MKOI are up 1,000 gold again, just off some smart map movement.
Yeah, a lot of that focus on this top side of the map, and this is kind of where you want it for as MKOI. The 1-3-1 is really where they want to try and focus.
Said, yeah.
And early Dragon, going to give them a little bit of a window to make sure they don't have to fight. Rift Herald would be huge for them, but I don't know if they're really in a position to try and fight for that. You can see a lot of, like, Mikyx trying to put a ton of pressure on towards this top side with some vision and threatening to come in behind Jojo, but they don't really want to go much further.
I just feel like for MKOI, the game is in an okay spot though, right? We're talking about it from their angle because we came into the draft mentioning how, okay, well, there wasn't really strong layering engaged with the Nocturne, or more so synergy that came through. It was all about this 1-3-1. It was all about how Elyoya can float to other lanes. Now you might have to float up towards top as Alvaro is the target, but slowed down with a good Winter's Bite, and the fact that Elyoya is in the vicinity. That's what we're talking about. MKOI setting up the dots before they're crossing the T's. Do you work with that?
I'm just trying to keep my eyes on...
It's a German T.
Ah, okay.
I think, which they don't, with the umlaut, you know? Except I've never seen it before. I don't think they have that. It's not a vowel. We learn something every day. Herald is up, Dagda. What do you reckon?
So at the moment, MKOI have pushed mid, getting pushed with top with Jojo. It's making it really difficult for Fnatic to find their window. They were trying to cheat that tempo and look for a pick towards Jojo topside, but MKOI now in a position to keep the waves in check and making it hard for Fnatic.
That Yorick with the maiden up as well. You see the trades are going very differently. I mean, Oscarinin getting poked down, and with the mixed healing as well. Thornmail has an effect, but doesn't seem that Myrwn cares as much as he did before. Jojo slowly pushing this wave where Poby is now matching. Herald still sits there, Vision still controlled, and with the back coming through from Mikyx, no, actually cancelled. I was questioning whether MKOI to start this Herald off now. Pings are going down.
Especially with the reset from Upset. Now you get the reset from Supa. Play towards Jojo.
Mikyx here, shove out. Tip is helping out. Poby getting some damage. Redemption also great. Thanks, Alvaro. Shouts Jojo, and again, they don't have the burst yet. That's what Annie does early. She just kind of CCs and chunks you to heart.
The thing is, though, Alvaro now is the reset. Supa's just on reset, and Jojo is the reset. So Fnatic just trying to delay backs here because they should be able to rush the Rift Herald off the back. Tibbers
got him.
It.
Really nice. As you said, now that's even more impactful, isn't it?
Yeah, just the control over the waves now crucial, and the reset timers for Fnatic working out well for them. So I don't think MKOI should be able to follow this. It'll require a TP from Jojo immediately back into the play.
Elyoya has the face check. Control wall put down. No ward in the pit until that scrying one. As Elyoya in the brush for now. Poby, the stun, mitigated. Great spell shield here from Elyoya. He has the ability to go again, but it's a Herald picked up for Fnatic. It is a meaningful win.
And Fnatic are going to be happy with that. They don't really have control over the push on waves. You can see Jojo dictating how quickly this wave gets pushed in just with a couple of buttons. And it means that if you can get these small windows for Fnatic, where MKOI are on resets, it's crucial to just holding on to pressure in this game.
Oh, damn, though, Jojo, you speak of pressure. That man hitting hard. Poby, good narrowly avoiding on the overload there, and he's going to back away. He's got an enhanced recall thanks to the Herald, but Jojo is feeling good in this lane.
This is just MKOI basically getting to do what they want.
Yeah.
You've got Supa, who's controlling mid lane push all the time.
Easy.
Jojo now going to be able to get top lane push. Bot was already gone, and Myrwn's just been having a field day against Oscarinin, despite the one solo bolo. And this map is just dwindling for Fnatic.
Yeah.
Dragon's now up and available, and that kind of is where they want to put their attention, but they're losing out everywhere on the map as they try and go for it.
It is really clean. It is really nicely played from MKOI. 2,000 just about the lead, and it's a slow, quiet, growing game where Jojo is topping the charts. Myrwn's topping the charts. 1.4k is the lead. Poby trying to find an angle here in bot, and Elyoya was nearby, but Myrwn, the level 12 Yorick, he's only falling behind Jojo a level, but like, you can see right now, Myrwn, who was meant to be the weaker portion, is definitely strong. Dragon sits there though, Dagda, that's the focus. And Razork has to get out of there as third Dragon of the game. Elyoya definitely wants these mountain stats.
MKOI should be able to start this up. Oscarinin still pushing on the top side, trying to answer for the turrets that have already been taken by MKOI. But Fnatic, you can see they're just not looking confident to take the space that they need to. At any point in time, Elyoya can come in over the wall or anything like that. So I think the slower this goes, the happier MKOI are going to be, because they're just getting the waves back in their favor again.
Maybe the Herald push can mitigate any kind of pressure that MKOI set up through the river line. Opening up mid would be big here. The charge comes through from Mikyx. And Elyoya is there to respond afterwards. They're going to get rid of the Herald, but Fnatic are definitely overloading mid right now. But gotta worry, if this goes on longer, Myrwn up in top is going to be threatening inners. Bot, Jojo already sends a wave in early. So it's not without response from MKOI here, as Myrwn is committing for now.
Yeah, Myrwn going to just continue to push. He's trying to see if he can spot out Oscarinin and deny him access. Will be able to do so there. But yeah, there you go. You've got to defend your waves now. So MKOI get the dragon. Nice, patient play from MKOI.
Yeah.
And yes, you end up giving up mid-turn, but you already have the lead when it comes to the structures on the map. And Fnatic had to invest the Rift Herald. So I like the way MKOI are playing this. This is very, very patient, but solid gameplay.
It's really nice as well, because a lot of teams by this point in the game, like regardless of comp, we get a lot more overcommitting to mid. A lot more like forcing fights maybe when they're not at their strongest. This feels very well thought out. And for MKOI, that's what we want. That's what we want in a potential Worlds team, you know? A lot of people in the past have stressed about sending Mad Lions or Movistar KOI, you know, this team that always makes it to the world stage. And it feels like they've ramped up in this split, we've already said, but it feels like also like they've become more than just a team that can also brute force 5v5s, be so strong in their individual rights. This is a very good sign of macro as Atakan now spawns. And
they talked about Euphoria, this being one of the things that they were trying to work on, that they were trying to figure out how they can have slow, patient games that feel almost like crippling to play against, where every decision you make feels impossible, and they've been doing a good job of forcing that gameplay onto Fnatic here. Fnatic have looked dizzy trying to keep up on the map. Even the trades for MKOI on these map states have worked out fantastically, and now you've got 2 out of Aphelios, going to be 2.5 off the reset. And you're starting to creep up into having a dragon advantage as well. So all the time, MKOI can go, right, yep, we're hands off on this next dragon. We're just going to force a tower. We're going to force a play elsewhere in the map. But now, Fnatic trying to force a play for themselves. It's immediately spotted by Myrwn.
Guys, we did this 2 games in a row, and KOI picked up a lead from it. Fnatic, are they really going to commit? This is a pincer maneuver from MKOI. The engage is in, but Mikyx getting one shot by Myrwn, flashing away. Mikyx gets out of dodge. Atakan again. Seems like bad news as the redemption is close. And the problem with the 1-3-1 being ahead is that when you commit so hard here, Jojo's able to push like this.
And he still has that TP to join in. Mikyx running for the hills, has just changed the TP himself, will try and rejoin off the back of this, but MKOI just going to drag this Atakan away painfully, slowly, keeping Fnatic on the hook.
This is going to reset as well. Look at them, it's even more painful. Time is MKOI's best asset in game 3. Jojo backing now, he's reading a book. He cares so little. At 10k, it's going down, but how fast?
But the TP in behind. Myrwn wants to try and get in. You're going to have TP from Jojo as well. Fnatic, they're getting pincered.
It seems like a flip again, but this time at even Stevens almost. Elyoya looking to turn the lights off. He does it. 2k, 1.8, 1.6. The steal not taken. Fnatic get it, but an Inferno Moonlight Vigil sends MKOI, or rather Fnatic, away. It's Oscarinin who kept time this time. He's the only death for Atakan. Some might call it worth.
Oscarinin couldn't get to the hills to flash away, but still, Fnatic, they get the Adicon. They do lose their bot lane turret.
Jojo.
They're looking for Jojo.
And it's the flash, it's the full commit. He came up by himself. He can't realm warp out. He'll go golden, but the kill's going to be granted over to Upset. A kill in Adicon. This is the first time Fnatic have found success, however you call it, with the mid lane trade.
That's the thing. You're starting to lose more and more towers for Fnatic. So yes, you get the objective, but I don't know if it's really going to be worth. The whole point of this MKOI composition is to force you to stay in your base and not get access to the map. Now with 2 minutes until Dragon, Supa
caught out, flashes away. Upset was there straight away. His arcane shift, not his flash, by the way. Teleport from Poby. He used his TP to get there just in case, but it is going to be a bit of a waste in the end.
I think they were just hoping that maybe that could be a pick that gets them some semblance of control. Still though, it is MKOI who have that control. Again, like a minute 30 until Dragon. You now have 2 of those outer turrets down. You've already got the Dragon advantage for MKOI, so they can just send Jojo or Myrwn to this top side and go, no, we're just going to look for the tier 2 tower. We don't need to take the fight.
What is this panda child doing? Where did
looking for bamboo.
But his father is top. Where did he come from? Ow. Oh, that's really sad how they die. They just fall into Summoner's Rift. They consecrate the ground. They grow flowers. They grow the grass. That's what's under Summoner's Rift. All of Yorick's dead. Oh, that's very dark. Yeah, sorry. It's not. It's happy things under Summoner's Rift. That's why we render them out.
But watch the push here. So you can push here and push here for MKOI, and with the Ryze, you can always have the ability to immediately teeter up towards his top side. So even though Fnatic at least get the tower on the bottom side, there's a pressure growing on them to try and force fights, and that's why we saw them try and hard force Adicon. But even there, you can see it's not as easy as, oh, we just win once we get to that position, thanks to just how large Jojopyun is.
Jojo's had a great game. I think I said it last year. I mean, you know, we were looking at their debut and Movistar KOI, Jojo's debut into playoffs. It was fantastic. Sorry, Dagda. It's a memory on me. I had a break. We had the break week, and then I lost everything. The end of their season is what I was trying to say. You know, I'm with you?
Yeah.
Sorry, the Yorick's grievance threw me off. True Shot Barrage, good block by Alvaro. Now, Baron's not up to
But this is what I'm talking about. They're going to realm warp to this top side for the tier 2 as the Dragon trade, right? And this is exactly what you want to try and achieve here. It's just keeping pressure up on the rest of the map. I imagine they're going to go for the move here in just a second after they hear the Dragon go down.
Mickey, this game I've not seen a Poppy ult, by the way. I've not really seen a disengage. Remember, he's got that steadfast presence, or rather, Keeper's Verdict. MKOI grouping up around Baron. That's now spawned. Dragon goes to Fnatic. But they lost a lot of pressure. They lost a lot of vision for this. Movistar trying to bait them in. It's Poby. He face checked, and his lights go off. Poby will die as they come back on. A TP right into the whole team. A pathmaker out, and Oscar goes, I do not want to be here. Flushes out of the wall. Fnatic have lost their mid lane, and for 40 seconds, Movistar KOI will have numbers advantage.
Jojo's locked down as a north.
All in, Cataclysm into Supa, Keeper's Verdict disengaged. An opening, a pick. Somehow Razork set it up to spike it down. Razork will die in the meantime. Jojo comes on in, but with the all out. In the meantime, Oscarinin tries to bring it back, but Ryze is rising. Oscarinin has no resistances. A realm warp to come in, waiting for the Pathmaker. He shields out, but in the end, will die out. Movistar KOI hold their ground, and they sacrifice Supa.
Fnatic thought they had their moment, finding Supa flashless in the river, but the machine gun Ryze opens up on them off the back of this. A great pick here from Jojo with that root to keep Poby in place. Overcommitment again from Oscarinin, hoping he can get here to try and save the day, but only puts himself in harm's way.
Bad on the back. Mickey, does he have the damage though? Does he have the damage? There's a shield about to come through. Mickey goes, oh, maybe I did. Hammer Shock avoided. And Mickey's on the run out of there. I respect it, but I guess he thought maybe he could one-shot the Ryze. That was not the case, as he's hoping for a step-up presence, but he's about to be feared. Mickey's gonna die. And now Baron in Movistar's eyes.
The TP from Jojo after he's healed up on the reset. And MKOI, they're just going to fish for a pick here.
Face check. Alvaro wins his bite. It connects, so he knows. But Movistar, again, numbers advantage, just like last time. Mickey's up in 25. I'm curious about that Summoner Spellbook if he has a TP, but it might not matter because they've got an Aphelios with Chakrams in front of Baron.
And he only used the TP to get to Adakan, so it won't be up and available for him just yet.
True.
So this will be MKOI now taking the Baron, and once more we're kind of seeing the desperation from Fnatic as they're just trying to force plays, but MKOI are catching them every step of the way.
Feels like they're inevitable, doesn't it? Movistar always find a way. They're always at Worlds. Since the inception of their organization, they've never missed a date with their destiny. Be as you may, audience may be upset, but the Spaniards know they're well-deserved right now, approaching that 6,000 gold. This has gone from a close game to Movistar running down the base and getting a step away from that big stage once again, from their home country once again. Spanish fans must be livid here, seeing that, livid's the wrong word, Dagda, they're living. No, they are living. Because if they're Movistar KOI fans, they know that it's within the grasp. It should be their game. The siege stops there. The base is not crumbling yet. That's the only thing, but 2 minutes on the Baron is a long time.
That's syncing up nicely with that third dragon as well. MKOI, cool, calm and collected. They haven't really given Fnatic opportunities to look for the plays. They've been very good at playing safe, getting their vision down, keeping people at bay, and I doubted the ability to play at 1-3-1 because it is just very difficult in the current state of League of Legends to try and play with just how many objectives there are. But Myrwn did a great job of getting this early lead. Jojo has been spectacular on this Ryze, and it's kind of been Jojo's pick. Like, even before this really became the meta, Jojo was bringing out the Ryze as his kind of style, and really now that the meta started to shift over into this, he already had the practice on it, and he's showing that that's really paying off now.
I think the most impressive thing for me is he got incorporated into this roster. He struggled in winter. Spring, he got that much better, and summer, he's just one of the kings of the mid lane. That arc, that's like a Saitama thing, except pretend he's weak at the start. I think, honestly, Jojo's been such a standout, and it's a consistency you now look towards. Alongside Elyoya, it works, and this team is working well. At 6,500 gold, we're waiting for Dragon. That's 45 seconds, and it's working so well, in fact, that you've seen Aphelios with 3 items. I see a very big problem for Fnatic. How do they survive?
I see several.
Okay, this is one of them, isn't it? Page is there. He's going to have to walk the hard way around. Jojo's going to get the stun up. Unstoppable Pathmaker. Redemption doesn't even get the chance. Disengage doesn't even get to dance. As Mikyx stops the ghouls. The Panda trash is disregarded. But for now, this bottom turret with the end of Baron is easy. Taking the lights are turned off as well. Here comes a Predator missile. Elyoya sends Upset away. And Fnatic going back to the fountain. This is how Movistar KOI want to end the game.
They're just going to keep going. Who cares about Mountain Dragon? Jojo goes golden. Alvaro's in the front.
True Shot Raj into an ice wall. There's the engage from Razork. It's nice onto Supa, but he just stands and hits him instead. Jojo didn't die in the engage, so he'll spread his magic like wildfire with a Realm Warp. That's fake. Fnatic gave priority. But now as the disregard comes in, MKOI know they have to leave. It can't end here. But the base is a dumpster fire.
Oscarinin is TPing in behind them, though.
And so what do? When your house is a dumpster fire, you take out the people who left the rubbish on the ground. Elyoya is going to get autoed. He will die. A shutdown over to Upset. It's not over yet, apparently, as Upset looks to chase forward. If they can get another kill, it looks like Dragon. Alvaro running for his life, though, but regardless, hey, Myrwn, Supa not up and available. Mountain Dragon, when you're 7,000 gold down, ain't too bad of a second prize.
But how do you do anything now in the map as Fnatic?
It is
the
bleeding.
second you leave your base, Realm Warp in and murder the Nexus. That's all the game plan for MKOI now.
Also, I'm going to bring up the mini-map. No, I'm not. This is a replay. We'll do it later because the base is broken.
Again, we're seeing what I expected to be the combo from the get-go, which was the ultimate from the Cataclysm on towards Supa, immediately Poppy murder them, but everyone in MKOI is just too far away. It doesn't matter at this stage. And Jojo bailing at the last second, doesn't want to chase Fnatic into the Nexus, but you've already got it done.
Look at this. There. Yeah, Mickey's got it. Mickey, you got to get... Oh, he didn't get rid of that one. Mickey, it's control warded. Okay, you can still TP to it. That one.
So it doesn't really matter because you've got a Realm Warp. All you do is you Realm Warp into the base.
That one.
And like, all that MKOI, I'm pretty sure, have to do is just group and just go. As long as Poby doesn't get a 5-man ultimate, I think they just kill the Nexus before Fnatic can respond.
You know, this is a game where people say there's no way Fnatic win this game from here, right? There's no way. Now, I don't know if that's a curse or not. Teleport from top, or rather to top for Jojo, while Myrwn delivers bot. There should be no way. The game's still going on regardless. So we're just going to hold, and Movistar KOI finishing this out, getting us to match point, being a step away from Worlds and Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, it feels right as well. Like, for MKOI, this defending spring champions, they've looked absolutely spectacular in this series. And getting to go back to Madrid, which did belong to them at the end of the day, the last time we were there. So I think it'd be nice to see them return to a very warm fan base over there.
And it would mean that our two MSI representatives will be going back-to-back at internationals as well. Oscar's trying to clear waves. Right now, who do you give the gold to? I guess the biggest question. Poby's got 3 items in a bit. Oscarinin being able to survive frontline might be a question mark here as he tries to get himself his third item, his MR.
I think the issue is going to be the Baron in 15 seconds. Because I think this is for Fnatic where you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You go to a pause. But it's as Baron spawns, if you immediately walk over to it and take it as MKOI, well, Fnatic have to contest you. And if they go to contest you, well, then you just round warp in behind them and finish the game.
Yeah, that's right.
So you don't have a winning play
if I do, damned if I don't,
And your base is already in tatters.
That's right.
There's just nothing left.
I mean, it's difficult. You know, there were moments in this game where Fnatic could have maybe found the picks that led them inside. They found the Atacant right, but there were a bit of whiffs that we saw up in that top side. I feel like that was a big turning point where maybe Movistar KOI lose the Baron. But again, this is like pulling at straws. Movistar KOI in both games now, back-to-back, have had exceptional team fighting. And I think the decision-making in this game as we try and figure out what this pause is an audio issue. So we're going to investigate that. I think this game has been a masterclass in some of our region's best macro. Like this, as you said, 1-3-1, hard comp to execute. I think as well, when we see it in isolation, we're like, well, the Nocturne doesn't have anyone who's going to follow like an Orianna, or like Aurora was a really good combo where you could layer in a wide area. But this game has definitely been, cleaner than I would have thought.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a bit of column A, bit of column B, right? Where I think Fnatic had moments where they could have played for, but ended up whiffing them. But I do think MKOI have done a phenomenal job of playing around how strong Myrwn is, playing around how strong Jojo was, and just having these opportunities to push the game further and further into their favor. Like every time we looked at Fnatic, it felt like they were scrambling to try and match side lanes than actually being able to be proactive and winning out the game through finding picks with the Jarvan, Poby having these big Annie ults. And now they're just at the point where MKOI got a bunch of the early dragons, have managed to completely destroy everything in their base. And if they ever exit to get onto the map, there's a potential the game just ends immediately.
True. It's in a tight spot. We're going to let you know when we get an update. It's apparently might be a couple of minutes. It's just with audio levels. So we're just going to work this out and then move on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're hoping for 5. We want 5.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
It would.
It would.
Yeah. But also because, the game 1 felt super close. Game 2 as well. This one has been very much MKOI dominated. But I do think we're kind of getting a taste of where MKOI's heads are at. I think Myrwn has been fantastic in both of Game 2 and Game 3. Jojo stepping up on the Ryze. And it feels like they're starting to peak at the right time. Because if you remember, MKOI had some struggles, against Na'Vi in the regular season. They still got the win, but it didn't look as clean as they would like to.
It did not look as clean.
And we heard from both Jojo and Alvaro on Euphoria how it was a work in progress. They were trying to figure out how they can incorporate the things that they won from MSI, and it wasn't exactly going as clean as they would have liked. But this game fills me with a lot of confidence for an MKOI going forward from this position. And either way, it feels like MKOI were coming off the back of regular season. We're very much there is a clear top 3. There is us, there is G2, and there is KC. And I think for them to be able to take down Fnatic would kind of continue to prove that they are just a step above Fnatic. And at least now it feels like it's kind of between MKOI and G2 as to exactly who's going to be able to take that final if they do push the whole way. Because G2 yesterday looking great. And now MKOI at least it looks like after this, 1 game away from finding themselves in Madrid and going to Worlds. Yeah,
I mean, look, again, not to toot the horn too early, but it does feel like in the past 2 games, MKOI have ramped up. But these games are close. These games are on the bridge of 1 or 2 bad fights, or 1 or 2 moments that should, like Fnatic, the topside play, right? But then you could argue in game 1, the Atacant throw Movistar KOI, you know, kind of threw the game back. So there's been some moments where, as we get back into game, because we got a ready check that, you know, should be complete. And this is one of them. As we get into game, quick update for you. 6.5K moving 7. The base is completely open. They need those Nexus turrets to respawn on Fnatic. That's what they hope for. But this is a very dire position where MKOI are about to move to match point if all goes well.
And this is where you kind of just end up stuck. MKOI means you start at Baron because the Realm Warp is always a threat in the base. You've got Myrwn pushing in on the bottom side. The Baron's just gone. And there's very little that Fnatic can do to answer to this.
Aphelios as well, with Baroned up minions. If he has Calibrum, which he has full stacks of right now, the range advantage is going to be supreme against Fnatic. Razork going to clear out what he can, but they need to get back into the base. The siege begins, and there's only a top inhibitor turret with inhibitor standing.
Poby trying to get a flank on towards Jojo, but he started to move over to group up with the rest of them. MKOI trying to see what they can do. But again, it's like, you have this opportunity to Realm Warp in, but you have to be very careful you're not doing it immediately onto Poby, who could just get a 5-man ult. So, or maybe even a 4-man ult in this case, as Myrwn continues to push in boss.
He can also just leave the maiden and group up too. Don't forget, like, this NPC wife can end the game.
I think it's just trying to spread Baron around is all they're really looking for. And let the minions do the work. Now Myrwn's in the base.
Yep.
And you got Jojo pushed in mid, and Mikyx overextended slightly, but they're still waiting on the wave top.
They're looking for a commit. The lights turn off though, and Alvaro finds a max range ulti. Jojo keeps firing and gets the overload in the end, but Myrwn's walking up towards the newly formed Nexus turrets. I believe they're still there, ladies and gentlemen, and just respawned as Fnatic trying to defend against 3 waves about to be.
And trying to see if the the Nexus turrets are there.
They are there. We get no health in the spectator thing.
And then as MKOI starts to
how do they defend Dagda?
I don't think there's a good answer to that, to be honest. Mikyx threatening, but now lost.
Razork just flashed for that, and he whiffed a Q, and with that, the ult comes through. Supa sitting back, and it's good from Razork. He gets onto 3, but Supa flashes away, and now Razork is dead. Movistar came in to do what they started here, and a brilliant 1-3-1 game. A good Poby ult in the end. Supa is just going to have to sit and kill a Poby on top of that, but moving to match point, revisiting what makes sense. The legends that always get to Worlds are one step away again.
And it's a confident game 3 as well, but we'll have to toss it over to a break to see if Fnatic can bring it back to game number 4.
Ooh.